You know, poor people feel everything. If you look at the TikToks, if you look at what's going on with YouTube and Instagram, the folks who come on there and talk about how hard it is to live, and I'm thinking about moving into a van, and it's poor people. And this is the thing that gets me about poor people. They're poor, they know they don't have any money, but there is this refusal to upgrade. I used to be poor, and I realized that I had an income problem. So what did I do? I went and began to work on my income problem. And the story is old, but I'll tell it again. I was living in a boarding house because at that point, shortly before I moved in the boarding house, I was homeless. And then I get in the boarding house and I realized some fundamental truths, some fundamental things. Number one, the reason I was in the boarding house is because I didn't have no money. And that was a fundamental fact. I didn't have any money. So I went through this process, and this is in the Royal Prince program. I had a full-time job, got a part-time job. I was working 7 days a week. Now, every time I mention that, a lot of people kind of lose their minds. Do you understand that your great-grandfather worked 6 to 7 days a week back in the day? It was normal. So I worked 7 days a week. I established myself an emergency fund, which gave me some money. So we have the money management bundle. We got that. Then we have more books. We've got, well, it's $1 for these books now because I had to put $1 so they would show up in the playlist. Then we have here we go. The Savage lawsuit, how to file, win, and collect without an attorney. Savage. Then we have The Motherfucker Principle. It's a free book, but it's $1. So go ahead and grab that. Then we have Unlocking the Secrets to Making Millions with a Small YouTube Channel. Dope ass book. Go ahead and get that. Then we have, this was supposed to be free, but I needed to make $1 so I could put it in there. Uncover the Investment Lie. Discover the truth behind successful investing and avoid common pitfalls. All right. Then we have, oh, this is a killer book. Discover the Secrets to a Lasting Marriage. Things that you need to talk about before you marry your boo. Savage Money, Unlocking the Secrets of Aggressive Money Management. Very good book, will help you manage your money a lot better than you are managing it now. Become a Sales God. Learn how to sell the right things to the right people. This book is all about sales. Things you need to do to learn how to sell stuff better. More for you. And let's see. And we got 2 more books. Unlock the Secrets of Permissionless Management. This is how to hire people. Why most people should not be hired and how to hire the people you should hire. And Permissionless Wealth. How to build multiple businesses at the same time. A process that I'm working on right now. These are books you can get if you can't afford the courses. So right now, go ahead and check those out. And then I launched this whole program to find a better paying job because I had an income problem. Once again, I fundamentally knew what my issues were. I had an income problem. So one of the things that I did to work on my income problem was I went to monster.com. It was the biggest job site at the time. And I created several different resumes. But the spot of genius was I went out and I created my own reference. That was key. So I got interviewed by Rent a Crate once, 2, 3 times. Then I get an offer letter. And after I get the offer letter, Rent a Crate calls my voicemail. It's something that Google Voice does for free now. And they called, and then I called them back from a payphone on Cleveland Avenue. Yeah, it was Cleveland Avenue. Called them on the payphone. And in my best Indian accent, they asked me 2 questions. Did he work there and would you hire him again? And that was my reference. So I went to Rent a Crate and I started making $38,500. Adjusted for inflation, that's $75,000 today. Walking through the door. And my whole life changed. Everything changed. I had one job that gave me enough money to do everything I needed to do. I was able to pay all my bills and stuff, child support. And then I had plenty of money left over. And then I began to work and I grind. And one of the things I did during this time period took me 8 months to fix my own credit. Then I began to advance. And I went to panel systems where I made more money. And then I went to business environment. And this is something else. As a salesperson in the business environment world back then, it was like you were the prom queen. Everyone courted you. Everyone needed salespeople. Everyone needed someone who could get on the phone, call, and make sales. Highly desirable job. Highly desirable job. And you have a bunch of people who, for one reason or another, do not understand the sales methodology, because it's very hard to get good salespeople because people just don't really want to do it. But I became a salesperson, and then I got to my 100% commission job, and that's where I made $600,000. And that was about 2 years and 2 months after I left the boarding house. After I left the boarding house. After I left the boarding house. I have to say it for a fact. So if you're a poor person, there are a lot of ways for you to increase your income. But this is the problem. Everyone is looking for an easy, comfortable way to increase their income. Sales is hard. I had to buy books, I had to study, I had to ask questions, I went on sales calls, had to talk to customers. It wasn't easy. But if you are poor and you're out here making TikToks about how, I've seen TikToks like, well, we went to McDonald's and, the family, it was like $75. Okay. Yeah, it was $75 for you to take the wife and the kids to McDonald's. You think things like, all right, as an adult who's lived in America your whole life, what have you seen that has been consistent? The price of stuff keeps going up. Is the price of gas the same as it was when you were a child? No, it's not. You fundamentally know this. You know this. But for some reason, people are praying for the economy to crash so that they can have some breathing room with the finances. So let me get this straight. You want the economy to suffer a crisis. You want people to be in a situation where they're hurting so you can get some economic relief. So you're praying for disaster so you can be fine. Really, really think about that. Really, really think about that. So, you're praying for a disaster so you can be better off. But here's the thing that gets me. I have a lot of poor people who follow me. I have a lot of poor people on my email list. And I sent out an email talking about it, and everything is a scam. Everything is a money grab. Everything's a scam. But here's what's funny. This is what's funny. You will spend $200, $300, $400, $500 for a pair of sneakers, but you will pause at spending $100 for some online education that will help you make more money. But you're poor. I don't think there's a problem with being poor. I think the issue starts with the refusal to change your status from being poor to becoming a person that has money. And this is one of the biggest things I consistently see across the development of mankind, that people are poor and they have this situation, but there's an absolute refusal to change the situation. Now, there's a group of people out there, and this is something I saw when I was in the hospital. All of the nurses' techs were in nursing school, every last one of them, because they could see the pathway. As a nurse tech, I think they were making $20. You become a nurse, you get a $17 or a $20 an hour raise. That's real. That's something you can feel, that's something you can see. I remember I was talking to this one nurse, and she was quite young, I think 23, 24. And she said she was the only one in her friend circle that was able to live alone. So you see what's possible, but because there's an area of difficulty, you refuse to do it. Let's go back to the nurse that I tried to help here on YouTube. If he was to start a nursing agency, which would be difficult, which would be challenging, he would have some hard work to do. 2 years, he could be a millionaire. Don't want to do it. He's in love with being a YouTuber. Now let's talk about that. Tomorrow at 2:30, well, probably today, because this video will come out Thursday. Today at 2:30 p.m., I have YouTube training. And this is one of the things, for me, it's easy. I recently created not one, not two, not three, but 4 channels. I have one channel that's humping. The channel was created February 21st. There's a good chance that I'll be monetized by YouTube or close to monetization by the 21st. That will be the fastest I've ever YouTube monetized a channel. And then I'm selling the product. But I've already had some sales from the videos of my products over there. So in theory, the channel's already monetized. And this is one of the things I'm beginning to see. People are scared. People are terrified of starting a YouTube channel. For me, when I first started the YouTube channel, it wasn't the fear putting my face online. When I first started, it was a freaking nightmare to produce a video because I had a Toshiba laptop. I used to do a handcuff, had to make the video, then filter the video through handcuffs, then lower the volume of the video so I could upload it to YouTube. It was crazy. But literally, I built 4 YouTube channels. One is going to be monetized very quickly. There's another one that's going to be YouTube monetized probably in 2 months. And I've got another one that's intellectual property school. Don't know, that's going to take some months to be monetized. And I have a fun channel where I can talk about fun stuff, Mac Daddy. And I started these channels like boom, 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 boom. But once again, I know how to do it. YouTube is a skill set that I have. I did not ever think that YouTube would become a skill set. But YouTube very much, I know how to start a YouTube channel. I have people that people I know in real life that I talk to who just refuse to do it. It's like, yeah, that sounds good, but no. No. They refuse to do it, right? So one of the big issues is that you have this process of people who actually refuse to do the things they need to do that will make them more money because it takes them out of their comfort zone. Let me go ahead and give you a bit of advice. To scale up in life, there will be a period of time where you will be very uncomfortable. Right now, I'm uncomfortable. I got this going on, I got that going on. I'm uncomfortable. But I know 3 months in the future, that all will go away. I will become very comfortable again. I'll be kicked back with my boo, watching television and enjoying my Saturday afternoons. Because this period of being uncomfortable, like when I was in the boarding house, I was working 7 days a week. That lasted a year. To a lot of y'all, that's like, oh, that's a long time. Really? A year to solidify your, that 1 year was the first year in me solidifying my economy and solidifying my economics and learning how to manage money. That year was pivotal into my financial success even today. But I got a question. Why don't you guys want to do what you need to do to make more money? You're poor. You're struggling. Like, one of the things I find, I think it's Klarna, Klarn, this little company where you can do $100 purchase and make 4 payments. That's ridiculous. $100 and you're making 4 payments on $100. That's ridiculous. That's bad money management. That's terrible money management. It's terrible. So, let's go back to the email list. I've shown receipts. I've shown bank accounts. But this group of people refuses to move forward. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give some thought process to this. Number one, a large segment of the group is comfortable. They're doing fine economically. They see no reason to upgrade. They see no reason to do anything different. They see no reason to make stuff better. They have no reason. They just don't see it. So then you have this situation of people who are trying to level up. And there's a smaller group that pays attention and they do stuff. And these are folks I'm talking to and I'm having consults with and I'm helping people. But I realize now, for me, that I have to help people build a YouTube channel because people are scared. And they're afraid of making mistakes or they're afraid of doing the wrong thing. So literally, this is why I have YouTube training every Thursday at 2:30. This Thursday, I'm going to actually walk you through the process of how I created a channel. And the channel has 1,300 hours of watch time. And I have a video that's going to pop tomorrow that's going to push the watch time up again. And then I have some more videos that I'm putting up because I'm planning the videos. There's a plan. There's an arc of videos that I have up there. And I'm focusing more on this channel because it's going to be the channel that gets monetized by YouTube. And it's going to be the channel that gets monetized by me selling my products and services. So how come you don't want to, I'm gonna ask a question. How come you don't want to start a YouTube channel? What is your biggest barrier? Because I see it's like, I'm not sure I want my face online. If you have a Facebook page, if you have an Instagram account, guess what? Your face is online. I don't understand this. I just don't understand this. So what is the big barrier? What is the big fear? What is the thing that's driving you guys to not take action? That's driving you guys not to do the things you need to do to become comfortable? What is going on? I really want to know, because here's the thing. I see stuff on the internet. There's a bunch of false narrative gods on the internet. Oh, the economy is crashing. Porsche can't sell cars. Blah, 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 blah. Yet I go out every day and I run into crowds of people at shopping facilities. Now I live in a wealthy area. I did not realize that I was moving to a wealthy area. I kind of knew, but it didn't hit me until I moved here, because my old house in Sandy Springs is literally 10 minutes away, and Northside Drive is like literally around the corner, maybe 2 miles away. And so I live in a very wealthy area. So it does make sense that you will come into a lot of wealth type activity. However, I was living in Buckhead. I ran into the same thing. I was living in Buckhead. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Tell me, why do you guys refuse to adapt new models, behavior, and things where you can make more money? Put that in the comments. Let me know. Please let me know.